Whew. Hey, Sainers. Just in the car and, yeah, ready to chat about the game. Wait for a few more Sainers to tune in, comment your thoughts. Obviously, pre-season, but good to get a win. Good vibes at the ground if you were there. But obviously, yeah, some bad news with Billings going down, and I've just heard about Hunter Clark, and I think they had to cut his Guernsey off him. He couldn't even lift his arm, so I don't know if it's a broken collarbone or dislocated shoulder, but doesn't look good. Those are the major down points from the game. Really upsetting news. I said to my friend who's an Essendon fan that I went with tonight, and you know, it was a quarter to go, and we were saying how it was a pretty good game, pretty competitive, but let's just both teams get through the game without any major injuries, and then, you know, we hear of those two. So that really kind of, yeah, upsets me, because we never get good luck this point of the year. But I thought overall the way we played, it wasn't bad, but I think the main thing I take from it is that Essendon really did pressure the goal and they just didn't kick straight. And there were signs of last year and the year before where we just weren't capable of really getting it out of the back 50 effectively. It was hack kicks, under pressure kicks. There was no real change to the way that we exit the back 50. And I always thought if we're going to go to the next level and become a really good team, that would be a big part as to why we would climb the ladder, is because of our D50 effectiveness. But that was the real disappointing part of the game. I thought that once we got past that, like particularly the first quarter and the second quarter, I thought our hands were very sharp in tight. I thought that we spread really well. That was one thing I can take away from this game, is that we worked really hard. Players went wide, allowed players to cut into the middle. It gave everyone space, and that's something that I think is, you know, not really what we've done in the last couple of years. So I think that we've got some good runners in the team now with Sinks, Hill, Mackenzie worked hard, Ryan Burns. Honestly, one of our best kicks. I think he is going to be a star. You know, a player that probably doesn't get the plaudits that he deserves yet, but that'll come. But every time he got the ball tonight, he was fantastic. And Brad Hill the same, 28 disposal, I think, which was a game high. Used the ball really well, just created a lot of drive. I thought that he was, I don't know, he played angry. He played angry enough. Obviously, he's going to be even more raring to go. The other positive, Max King. We can't really talk about this game unless we talk about Max King. Anytime the ball went near him, he marked it. Or he came to ground and he was effective at ground level, or he brought the smalls into the game. The, you know, the aura that he had. Sorry, guys, I think the internet cut out, but we're back. I was just talking about the aura that Max King has already after 2 years of footy. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, anytime the ball gets near him, the excitement that the crowd has, like even in a small crowd tonight, the excitement was just through the roof. It was fantastic to see, and that's the reason why we go to the footy. Yeah, Mark, I know the live's in and out. I think it was just the Wi-Fi here is just pretty shocking in the car park, but hopefully it's better now, guys. Sinclair was great. I thought that Mitch Owens looked pretty lively when he came on. Nasaya took a bit of time, obviously, a lot of pressure, and he's a very light frame, so anytime Essendon could get a body on him, he was pushed away, but he did some nice things. Rowan Marshall, the other key highlight, 24 disposals, worked his ass off around the ground without Paddy Ryder, and that's with Jack Hayes kind of giving a chop out as well. But I thought Rowan Marshall proved why we all think he can be the number one ruckman and can be a really important player for us. I think, You know, the attacking side of the game wasn't really the problem for me. It was really what we did when the opposition got the ball and when they were on a roll and the momentum was clearly in Essendon's favour. You know, it was the start of the second, start of the third, and pretty much all of the fourth. Essendon had the momentum. They kicked 9-17 or something, so we could have easily lost this game. The positive was we did kick straight when we had our chances. We took them, and that's what probably separated us from Essendon tonight. But we're going to be coming up against some very good teams this year, and when they have the momentum, we need to not only negate it, we need to be able to rebound and kick goals from that. And I think that tonight we still showed that little bit of an inability to generate any sort of attacking power from those moments, and we just kind of succumbed to the pressure. We just let them bombard us, let them kick it into the 50, let them have shots on goal. And unfortunately for Essendon, fortunately for us, they missed. But in other games, teams are going to kick straight, and that's 7-0 in that last quarter if they kick straight. So it's hard to tell if we were just kind of playing the clock and slowing things down and trying to play tempo footy. To me, it kind of seemed like that. But when we did go fast, I thought we were pretty exciting. But it really still stems to, do the tools mark it? And if Rowan Marshall marks it, if Max King and Tim Membry mark it on the wing or around the ground, that's when we play our best footy, because we can get the quick hands, we can run, we've got players in behind, we kick easy goals that way. But when teams knuckle down and we can't take those marks around the ground, I'd still say that we do still struggle to find other avenues to goal. It's very much kick along, and that's quite a one-dimensional way of going about it. But I thought in particularly the first half, our skills were good. The ground was quite dewy, and the ball was slipping around, and it was like that last night in the Brisbane Dogs game. But I thought that we handled the pressure well when the ball was in long. I thought Dukes killed it really well. I thought Josh Battle started slow, but showed some signs. Pato got through it again, and I haven't talked about him yet, but Jade Gresham was absolutely scintillating in that first half. The guy's center of gravity, his low center of gravity is ridiculous. It's such an asset for him. He just changes angles constantly, and people cannot tackle him. I thought his kicking was better. He kicked a great goal and took the player on and beat him. He looked confident in his body again, and I think that with the likes of Zach Jones being out indefinitely, this is going to be really important for us going into round one, because we don't know when Zach Jones is going to be back, and he was that live wire in the middle of the ground. But without him, we need someone to fill that void, and Jade Gresham is exactly that player. I thought up until his injury, I thought Hunter Clark was actually looking really good. I was really impressed with his game, and that's the thing, is Caulfield goes down, has a great off-season. Zach Jones he's out indefinitely. He's been having a great off-season. Hunter Clark getting back into the game, and then he gets injured. So that's kind of typical Saints at the moment, but I don't want to sit here and feel sorry for us, because we got the win, and I thought that overall there were more positives than negatives. Exactly, Dean's just mentioned. I thought there was a lot to like, but there was also some similarities to last year. But it is a preseason game, and as I said with the Carlton game, we're not going to completely go crazy. Webster was great. I thought his ball use is phenomenal. And if we can get Webster and Sinks off halfback with Brad Hill playing the way he played tonight, they're going to generate a lot of our scoring opportunities. So I think a lot of teams are going to be putting as much work into those three as they are into someone like Jack Steele, who lifted his game tonight. He looked really good, laid some really big tackles, and just did his work around the ground, and was as clean as he's always been. So there was no issues from a Jack Steele point of view. Seb Ross tried hard, but again, just didn't quite get into the game. I thought Crouch was better than last week. I thought he looked a lot better. And Wilkie was Wilkie and did his job nicely. So the players that I expect to do well this year have done well, and the players that I expect to kind of hopefully improve, some of them are looking like it, and some of them are still kind of around the mark. But yeah, I couldn't be too disappointed apart from the injuries. That's really the big negative for me. And beating a team that is going to be around us on the ladder. That's always a good sign, no matter whether it's preseason or not. It's always good beating a team that is rumoured to be rising and being a contender in the next couple of years. And that's what the media have kind of flagged Essendon as. They're kind of the team to fly up into the top 8 and do some damage. So, yeah, good to get the win. We needed to get a win just for confidence sake, and we did that. So last week against Carlton, close loss. Tonight, close win. No issues there apart from the injuries. So, yeah, that's my take on it, guys. You don't have to agree with it if you don't want to, but let's get through some of these comments. It's good being back, but to be honest, like last year, I think I only did a couple of games through the live like this, and a lot of it was from home. So it was really good to be back and glad to get a lot of Saners around me at the game tonight. You know, small crowd, but Saners coming up and tapping you on the back and saying good work. And I say this all the time, but it always takes me by surprise. It never won't take me by surprise. So that stuff is stuff that is really heartfelt, and I really appreciate it. So thanks guys. Matthew says, how good was King in the first quarter, Jake? Matthew, he was bloody awesome. Anytime the ball went near him, mark. And he's set shot kicking. He's looking really good, you know, really comfortable. He had 2 really nice shots tonight, and he kicked them truly. So no fuss with Kingy. Took some big grabs and crash packs when he needed to. So job well done from Max King tonight. Archie says, injuries annoying, but result is good. Love your work, Jakey. Thanks, Archie. Injuries are very annoying, and we know about them way too much as a Saints fan. Godfather, that's from Bradley. Thanks, mate. Dean says that Hunter Clark looks like a dislocated shoulder. That's definitely going to be round 1, I would have thought, but hopefully not too long after that. Definitely better than a broken collarbone, that's for sure. Matt said Jack Hayes looks promising. He does. He looked good around the ground. I thought he moved really well, and he got a good shot on goal that he missed, but I thought his leading was really nice. Bloody big body, and that's something that we need more of in the club, so big tick there. And I thought he actually did all right when he pinch hit in the ruck. He did, you know, he gave Rowan Marshall a good chop out, and I think you wouldn't be too worried if we did that going into round 1 against Collingwood. Corey says that was rough to watch. It was rough to watch at times, but that's the point of pre-season. We want to get this roughness and this scratchiness out of the way early. Just need a bit of consistency. That's from Dave, and yep, that's something that we've all been craving for a long time. But tonight, you know, we'd say we probably played well for 66% of the time or something. I don't know why the lights have turned off. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it's something that we need to work on, obviously, and something that hopefully the boys are working on pretty hard. Tough going for no points, Saints, but fantastic heart at the end. Yeah, it was fantastic heart at the end. They did grind it. Like, that's something we can say is they really did grind the win. Whether Essendon would have won it or not, I would have been very proud of the effort in the last quarter. They threw their body at the ball, and they really did put their bodies on the line. Dylan says, started the game really well, but wasn't as free-flowing as I thought it would be. A good start, but need to polish it up before we take on the Pies in round 1. Absolutely. Happy New Year, Jakey. That's from Jason. Happy New Year, mate. Hope you're going well. Dean says, the injuries are hell, but Wanganeen-Malera plays round 1, and it's a toss-up between Owens and Sharman for the last spot. Yeah, it was interesting that we really didn't want to play Sharman the full game. I think Mason Wood really played well, and they kind of gave him that run. But Sharman came on late, and he did all right. Some decent comments here, as always. Howard did play well down back. Yep, special mention. Brad Hill, best on ground. That's from Jason. Peter says, worried about our ability to exit defence when hemmed in. Got on the break, but overall control needs to be better. That could not summarise that any better, Peter. That was exactly what I was thinking, is that transition from the midfield to forwards, pretty good, getting better. Ball use was good, but it's when we're hemmed in the back line, what do we do next? Who's the guy that puts his head up and says, I'm going to handle this pressure and we're going to get out of this okay? And I think it's got to be Brad Hill or Jack Sinclair. They're the guys that can hit targets under pressure better than anyone in our team. Mark says, very smart and composed late when the pressure was on. Sounds like we lost. That's from Dean. No, Dean, we got the win, mate. It's all good. Bo says, good fighting win, but very costly for round one. Absolutely. You never want injuries, and you'd rather take a loss tonight, a 100-point loss, and no injuries than an 11-point grinding win and a couple of pretty bad injuries. So that was the worst case scenario for us, and we kind of got it. But I'd like to think that we can kind of cover those. We've got some depth now, I think, with Owens and Windhager and these sort of guys, Wanganeen, Malera, Sharman. We can cover forward and we can cover a wing or a midfielder. Luke says Mason Wood had a bit of X factor on the wing with the ability to go forward, so much talent. He's got a really good eye for goal. Like, I'm really surprised with... I shouldn't be surprised because I guess he showed it with North, but he's really done a good job in transitioning into the club, and he was good up until his injury last year. I keep mentioning in 2021, his form in that wing half-forward flank position was great, and tonight he showed it. Anytime he got a sniff in the forward 50, he was good, and his endurance is a big asset. He can play on the wing, and he can move forward and kick goals, and that's something that is really critical for any team that wants to play finals. Injuries probably save Ross. Yeah, potentially. Matt reckons that Zach Jones will play round one. Fingers crossed he does, mate, because he's a big player for us, but obviously no rush for him to come back with his personal issues. Jack Hayes reminds me of Jason Blake. That's from Tony. We need to play 4 quarters consistently. That's from Stephen. I don't think any team in the preseason comp this weekend will play 4 quarters. I guarantee it. It just doesn't happen. And I don't think teams in general... People say play 4 quarters and you win. I really don't think any team plays 4 quarters. I think even Melbourne last year in the grand final, there were times where Bulldogs had the better quarter. Melbourne just had the better moments, I think that's more important. When you have your moment in front of goal, you take them. You're not going to have a 4-quarter game where you dominate. It just doesn't happen in AFL football anymore. Teams are too competitive and too resilient. They're always going to get some momentum. It's more how you handle that momentum to me, not how much momentum you have. Mason Wood or Cooper Sharman round one. Based on tonight, you'd say Mason Wood, but in general, I think overall, Cooper Sharman's probably got the better X factor about him. But on output, if you just want goals and someone that's serviceable, Mason Wood probably based on tonight. But it's going to be a very, very tough choice for the coaches, that's for sure. Corey says, when are you doing a collab with Scoops? Probably never, but you never say never. But at this point, I think I'm just going to focus on my content and he can focus on his. So good on him with his page, and yeah, I hope he has a great year. How good is having Gresh back? That's from Catherine. So good. Like, just gives us a different look in the midfield. He's just got something about him that no other player. He's got a lot of confidence about his own ability too, which I love. He's got a bit of swagger when he gets the ball. So that's something that we need to see a lot of this year. And I think based on his preseason, he's going to have a big season. What else have we got? In close handballing was really good earlier. That's from James. Yep, that was a key thing that I noted down in my notes. Was that, yeah, the in hands under pressure, bang, players got it. It was a slippery ball, but there were a lot of clean hands as the game wore on. Obviously, players tire and the hands get slower, but early on, we looked, particularly that first quarter, we looked the far better team. We looked really good, fresh, and we're not known for jumping out of the blocks early, so I was really impressed with the way that we wanted to start that game. Godfather, thoughts on a future collab with Unplugged podcast? Wouldn't say no to that. They're a bunch of awesome guys. They've got a great podcast, so happy for them to, to chat to them whenever. Yeah, pretty easy with that. Damien reckons, out of the recruits, I thought Owens looked the best. He is a natural and looks comfy at this level. I agree. I think he looked the most comfortable in terms of his size. He could take the hits and he could give the hits, and I think that's something that maybe someone like a Nasai Wanganeen Malera needs to get used to more, but his role is not to go in and get hits. His role is to stay on the outside and get some really good kicks and break the lines for us. So I think that with Brett Hill doing that, Nasai might have to wait for his moment for round one, but Owens his moment could definitely be fast-tracked by by just his ability to hit the contest hard. I think I'll leave it there, guys. It's a nice quick one. Obviously, practice game, so you don't want to delve into things too deeply. But overall, I think that there were some good signs. Our ball use, I thought, was a bit better. I thought Max King looked fantastic. I thought Jade Gresham was great. Brad Hill was great. The backline handled the pressure really well, albeit that Essendon did miss a lot of goals. And I thought our midfield overall wasn't entirely overawed by Essendon, but late in the game, Merritt, McGrath, Parrish, they kind of got Essendon back into the game, and you wonder if that's rotations through the midfield, or we just tired, or we just kind of took the foot off the pedal. But I think, it would have been a perfect preseason game if we didn't get injuries, and we did. So that really is the focus, and to see how Billings and Hunter Clark pull up. But it doesn't look like either of them are definitely not going to be ready for round one. Hopefully Zach Jones is, and that kind of balances it out. But I would, the key takeaway from this is Max King's going to be enormous this year. Rowan Marshall is going to get better, and I think that we're going to be better, but it's hard to tell still at the moment what St Kilda, what the St Kilda team is in 2022. So we'll know more in the next couple of weeks, and definitely round one against Collingwood, expected to win. Hopefully these injuries don't set us back like they did last year, and that we've learned from them, and that we've got the depth to handle them. So I'll leave it there, guys. Not the perfect performance, but we got a win. A couple of injuries, but I think it was important to get the win and to get used to some pressure footy like that. It was great that Essendon threw the kitchen sink at us late, and we get to kind of simulate that real game scenario before round one. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. A late one tonight, but always appreciate your support. And to the Saners that said hi at the game, thank you very much. This video is going to go up on YouTube as well, so if you've missed the live and you've just tuned in, the full replay will be on YouTube in the next 20-30 minutes, hopefully. And hopefully we'll get the podcast going in the next week in the lead up to round one. But until then, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video, which will hopefully be Saints TV Weekly on Monday, which will be kickstarting again. So take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.